But it's okay that my characters can break down. It doesn't mean I am breaking down.
Yet, it's okay that my characters can separate. It doesn't mean I am separating yet. I was unable to sort out some way to isolate it cause, as a rule was being employed, to be fragments of myself. Might you at any point speculate who recruited her? Here's a clue: he's an example of the rare type of person that has a studio with his name just external. What's more, Gabrielle association was just where it started with him. I had no clue about that Tyler Perry studio plan was so radical on the off chance that you dealing with a customary organization show. They take an entire to movie an episode. Tyler Perry Studios, they movie an episode in one day for others. It was a lot of more regrettable than simply having crazy timetables, harassed, threatened for quite a long time, and I will be painted as the antagonist in light of the fact that you all have bargained this individual throughout the long term. We've been told by figures inside the diversion that what individuals see from far off is a difference to what truly happens inside the business. There have been a small bunch of these cases working out over the long run, yet nothing that is at any point elaborate. A few veteran entertainers, like Gabrielle Association, well, that table just flipped over, as Association currently is by all accounts the one initiating the cases about Hollywood being all the more a bad dream, as opposed to past reports have guaranteed. It's not only that there are individuals who control essentially everything right from the projected on to the delivery dates to suit their unmistakable timetables, yet there have additionally been anecdotes about installment variations inside shows where characters are given make sure that are miles from one another for comparable jobs. It appears to be Association alongside a few different veterans, and she knows, have been managing these practically fantastic circumstances endlessly time again, yet these individuals are at last putting their foot on the ground anyway, despite the fact that standing firm has helped push their objective in the correct bearing. It's additionally prompted other more vile disclosures about the people pulling the strings in the business. The thing with most veterans in the business is that while their concerns are generally attached to their cash, other less settled entertainers have something else entirely game to manage well. In the soul of opening the top of bad behaviors by the super frightening in the business, it was uncovered that a portion of these chiefs truly make the most individuals who work under them. This has been featured by powers like the #MeToo development, which made it a highlight. Uncover individuals that had been making the most of ladies in the business for quite a long time, yet the present exhibitions takes an alternate heading, as the male leaders for this situation are affirmed to have been making the most of other male subordinates on the set. It gets a bit hazier when you figure out that these individuals, in the wake of being fought, said to do unfathomable things just to land valuable open doors, unaware, purportedly made to sign authoritative reports, keeping them from insinuating it until the end of their lives anyway. One thing a decent legal counselor is dependably able to do, even in the motion pictures, is to find circles that break the defensive cloak of the rich and strong. The legal counselor here is metaphorical, as Gabrielle Association appears to have volunteered to uncover these individuals for the perhaps many individuals who have needed to survive a portion of the most exceedingly terrible circumstances just to get an opportunity on a film set. Currently, I've not referenced any names starting from the start of this yet. The number of B tycoons in the movie business, do you truly believe are adequately close to Gabrielle Association that she'd have seen move a specific way? I'll give you a clue: he's, as of now, been over and over made up for lost time in various embarrassments. A portion of individuals that you believe are your tutors are, in a real sense and metaphorically. Hollywood has made a ton of very rich people, going from entertainers who landed jobs in a portion of the record-breaking greatest shows to chiefs who additionally served in their own ability on sets with a similar norm. Yet what about somebody who was both a chief and an entertainer in one of the greatest film establishments ever? Definitely, this is who Tyler Perry has set up a good foundation for himself. As in the business today, the man has won essentially every industry grant of greatness out there, and keeping in mind that it has been facilitated by the greatest names in TV yet, Perry's name has gone a long ways past his industry, with his acknowledgement being noted as exceptionally as in top government workplaces. Perry didn't get that by simply being quite possibly of the most entertaining person on TV. He's additionally been engaged with a few charitable works throughout the long term, some of which were factors that even prompted him laying out his own studio in any case yet. With this large number of extraordinary things joined to his name, there have likewise been a few shameful news. Generally, as of late, one of those shocking news just pushed the maker's name to the focal point of all pattern records, even news reports. We're saying you must have been under the heaviest of rocks to have not heard or perused the name Christian Keys somewhat recently and a half. It's in my bone marrow, and I'm worn out on this individual. Gallabut around doing these PR stunts. Gracious. I am a do this, and I'm Emma do that in the event. A fast preliminary. Keys is an entertainer, model, and writer who composed the books that were adjusted into the BET, in addition to show Every One of the Sovereign's Men, which he additionally wrote. In co-featured on December 16th, Keys transferred an hour in addition to long video on his encounters in Hollywood to Instagram. In that video, Keys discussed being a casualty of long stretches of Shep because of an extremely influential man who had a few youthful, dark individuals of color on his finance and who offered him a six-figure payoff to keep his mouth shut. He professes to have recorded sound of his harasser on a pen recorder, whether it's a keychain recorder or a pen, in light of the fact that most hunters would check your telephone. His video incited an underlying firestorm of help, a quick theory that the influential man being referred to is Tyler Perry, considering the years-long interest in his and the way that Tyler Perry Studios created Every One of the Sovereign's Men. Keys cases were met with various responses for certain fans seeing his perspective, while considering his past, and others absolutely advising him to name drop his assaulter. One individual composed, "I can sure yet," by declining to name the guilty party, yet uncovering pieces of information it will lead individuals to estimate, assuming he continues to do it. He could free himself up to a criticism guarantee. Claims from those being named web-based. Someone else countered, saying sometimes people need a shoulder to cry on, and a few people are downright meddling and muddled. Honestly, we don't have the right to realize who did. It's not our concern. We really want to help him as a person, period. At any rate, 2 days after he exploded the web with his reality following individuals charging that he was alluding to Tyler Perry, the entertainer uncovered that his assaulter name had quite been referenced by the fans he thought of a pet. Portion of these pessimistic and oblivious remarks are the specific explanation that men, particularly individuals of color, don't discuss this sort of stuff. He added that, and you all have said his name in the remarks, which is insane in light of the fact that is the number of individuals that realize what continuing attempting to track down the solidarity to complete this race. While there was no express confirmation that Perry was answerable for his awful encounters, there have been 2 or 3 other easy decision outrages that demonstrate that in any event, Tyler Perry isn't who he's painted himself to the world, as I'm alluding to Brandon Jay's insight on the Maker set, who was supposedly constrained by the tycoon to work under fringe crazy circumstances, as well as played his tried out part, which was straight exchanged into a gay one during the set. Jay took to TikTok as of late to focus on how shooting only one episode of Perry's Meet the Browns transformed into the most unpleasant act and hardest experience of his life. As per Jay Daily on Perry's show set, is more uncommon than the run-of-the-mill one-episode shoot. The entertainer says episodes are typically shot in multi-week anyway. At Tyler Perry Studios, they're shot in one day, notwithstanding the tight shooting plan. Jay blames Perry for rolling out somewhat late improvements to the contents the entertainers needed to retain before each shoot Jay had tried out for, and was assuming the part of Jeffrey, a heavy secondary school test. And it was being harassed at school. I required 2 to 3 days to get familiar